started school in Houston, and then in first grade we moved to San Antonio. So I went to Waltham Elementary, and then I went to Kruger Middle School. Then we moved, and I went to Ed White Middle School. And then I did my first 2 years of high school at Roosevelt High School in San Antonio. And then moved here to Moulton, Texas, and finished my junior and senior year here. So that's where I went to public school.
Christi, and then we moved to Portland, Texas. So I grew up kind of like in the suburban area. But then in junior high, we moved to Campwood, and no one knows where that is. And it's really remote, very small town. I ended up graduating with only 21 kids in my class. And they just a really, really several small towns were put together to make one school called Nueces Canyon. So that's.
I'm not from San Antonio, but I've been here for a long, long time. And I attended school where my dad was military, so we bounced around a little bit, but I enjoyed every bit of it. It gives me stuff to pull from to do what I do. So I finished the college here at St. Mary's University.
It's going to be pretty low. Some of you won't believe it. It's really about 1 to 9.
It's about 25 to 1.
Right now we have ideal class sizes. I think probably the most I have in one class is like 21.
We have about 44% Hispanic and 54% considered white, according to our most recent TAPR.
79% Hispanic, 12% white or Caucasian, 6% African American, 1% Asian, and then 1% other. And then there was no American Indian or.
Our demographics are made up basically of Hispanic, the majority Hispanic and African Americans. And we have another percentage of Anglos, and we have Vietnamese, Asian.
It's a blessing because there's a better 1-to-1 ratio between the student and the teacher. So in a small school setting, in a small classroom setting, the teachers have more time to devote to their students.
I really feel like, especially being out at North Side, we have a lot of opportunities for the kids. We have, this is just a middle school, and we have every elective that you can think of. We have every sport that you can think of. And so I feel like we're able to give, the kids so much opportunity, and where I grew up, we didn't have every sport. We didn't have every
Here
elective.
went to school within our San Antonio school district, and some even in the east, on the east side. So that helps that they're able to guide the students. They have something to pull from. And then especially when I went to school with your cousin, your brother, whatever. It just helps build that rapport with the kids. And then.
Well, if you look at the accountability ratings, we received 6 of 7 distinction stars. We got distinctions in academic achievement in reading and language arts, in science, in social studies. We received the top 25% student progress distinction, the top 25% closing performance gaps distinction. We also earned the post-secondary readiness distinction. So we got 6 out of 7. We're working on the math. We were just shy of getting the math distinction. But the state breaks that down. They give you a comparison group. So there's 40 schools. You're one of the 40. And those 40 schools are just like you demographically, as close as can be. And so when I broke down those demographics, when we looked at our student achievement index rating and looked at all the other schools, we were number 1 out of all of them. We were the top one in all of our comparison
When I
group.
first got here, we didn't make AYP, which we didn't make the standards. So we've had lots of interventions in place since then to get us where we need to be. Last year we actually did very, very well compared to other schools within our demographic or range. We actually exceeded like our star scores exceeded expectations. So right now we're good, but 3 years ago, no.
All right, cut. I'm gonna get there.
The small school setting ends up being a family environment. We do consider ourselves to be a
Well, I
family.
work for Northside, and they pay really well. They start teachers out at $50,000 a year, which is huge for a teacher.
Things I need to do this time.
Did I sound like a gold digger?
Coming from a regular middle school to a academy is the size. I think the kids truly, they have a genuine liking for one another.
It might go back to funding.
I would change the behavior of the kids.
See, improve for us are our resources.
We are a Chapter 41 school, so we're considered the rich school district. We pretty much we're able to get anything we pretty much need, but not what we want.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
if
very
we
happy with our resources here. I would, and like I said, I'm an elective teacher, so I teach cooking, sewing, all of that kind of stuff. My north side gives me a huge budget.
I like to see
which I
more
love.
of it,
Like, I
so
mean,
more classes can go. It's not so much like you gotta wait for one class to leave and all that kind of good stuff.
I student taught at a 3A school, and I went to a 5A school when I was a student. I know those differences, and I have been, this small school setting is, it's ingrained in me, it's instilled in me, it's what we do.
my first 3 years teaching, I was at an inner city school, SAISD. I was downtown Fox Tech High School. It was a little bit rough, and so I wanted to get closer to home, closer to my house because it was a long drive. I also wanted to get, it was a little bit scary down there.
You know, you want to stay behind because, I don't want to say stay behind, though. Let's put not stay behind, but you want to stay here to help.
Yeah.
You know, to give those enrichments so that they see more than just what goes on in their neighborhood. And so that helps that they're able to guide the students. You know, they have something to pull from. And then especially when you know, like, oh, I went to school with your cousin, your brother, whatever. It just helps build that rapport with the kids. And